the channel. Today we're going to be talking about how and why writing can improve your life. So first things first, why practice writing? We practice our writing to achieve our goals and to reach our potential. So what do I mean by that? I mean that writing is a means of preparing ourselves to act rightly by first aligning our thoughts with our supposed intentions. Well-organized thoughts are the communicative and social equivalent of body armor. The employment of our voice is our most powerful tool. It's how we establish our relationship with the world and the network of people around us. I don't think many people realize it, but writing is the best way to simulate foreseeable life events before they happen. And that means practicing the navigation of a high-stakes scenario in a private and low-stakes environment, sitting in a quiet room and carefully filling a notebook page with what you hope and expect to happen. Say it's a job interview, it's spending 15 or 20 minutes sitting down and trying to break down what is potentially a pretty high-stakes life event into its simpler, less stressful components and details, kind of deconstructing something that is high stakes to make it more manageable, which will increase the probability of your success. I had a teacher in high school, and I'll always remember this. Somehow the question came up in class. It was something along the lines of, would you rather have your children be incredibly smart with poor social skills or incredibly sociable but lacking intelligence? And I remember he said something that surprised me, and I think it's the main reason why the story has stuck with me as long as it has. He said more social, and he told us that general intelligence becomes significantly less important beyond the classroom. And that really surprised me at the time. The reason I'm talking about it now is because, I think all of this is to say that being able to effectively communicate with people and to build mutually beneficial relationships is a practicable skill offering, compounding value. And writing is the way that we develop that skill. What writing brings to the table in a way that nothing else does is its unique ability to develop a socially beneficial skill in complete isolation, and perhaps most importantly, for almost nothing. If you sit down for 15, 20, 30 minutes a day and you practice your writing, you're practicing articulating your thoughts clearly. So we've answered the why. It has to do with, social skills and increasing your probability to find success, to kind of manipulate the fabric of reality as it unfolds itself before you by being able to prepare your thoughts, prepare your ideas beforehand, to rehearse your social skills before you're in an environment where things really matter and you need things to go well. So how can we practice our writing? Let's talk specifics. The first way I would personally recommend practicing your writing is to read great books. And the first reason I suggest reading great books is because we need to control our informational intake. I think this is something few people are told. A healthy informational diet is just as important as a healthy diet and exercise routine. Information is meta food, and the same way that the foods you put in your body, make you feel a certain kind of way. You can imagine if you eat nothing but fast food, as time goes on, it's going to take a toll on you. You're going to start to feel worse, and this is why reading great books is the first step toward becoming a better writer, toward becoming somebody who is more able to effectively communicate and clearly communicate their thoughts. And by controlling your informational diet, by reading great books, you're going to, over time, elevate your vocabulary and your ability to communicate with people. Maybe that sounds a little far-fetched, but what I'm really trying to drive home is that consuming information that somebody put a lot of time into and a lot of careful and well-planned thought into. You read a great novel like The Brothers K or Crime and Punishment. The information that's coming into your head is something that was carefully planned and a lot of time was put into. When you compare that to, your average Facebook post or your average tweet, and how little thought is kind of put into it, and just the onslaught of information into your mind. There's an informational hierarchy, there's a kind of informational distinction that can be explained using an analogy of fast food versus organic, healthy food. But when I talk about reading great books to become a better writer, what I'm most fundamentally talking about is reading to be a better writer. As you drag your eyes from line to line, think critically, try to critically engage with the words before you, and try to understand the way the author's sentences move, try to understand their syntax. And even if you don't, there's some subconscious mechanism that incorporates the words and the author's voice into your language. If you read a great novel like In Search of Lost Time, something that's immensely long but beautifully made, you'll find that spending an hour or so a day with the book, as time goes on, there are parts of the author's voice that linger in your head. My experience writing, while I was reading Proust, prior to Proust, my sentences were short, they were very punchy, and I found myself about halfway through the second volume, I began to realize that my sentences when I wrote were long. They would tail all around, they would spiral all around, and this was something that had never happened before, that I'd never done before, and it was something I hadn't planned. That's kind of the point that I'm trying to get across, is that just by reading, your writing will change, and that's because reading great books influences your thoughts. The way in which that happens is similar to how, eating fruits and vegetables and healthy meats is going to better prepare your physical body to exercise, to work efficiently. Filling your head with carefully constructed and meaningful and well-articulated sentences is going to change how you think. That's the first way that you can practice your writing. The second way is obviously to dedicate time to using writing as a tool for, like I said earlier in the video, for visualizing your ideal future, for planning future events. Writing can be practiced alone with 15 minutes of downtime, and everyone, I don't care who you are, everyone has 10 or 15 minutes of quiet time that they can spare every day. So from there, when we think about how we can plan out an ideal future, it starts with scaling things down. It starts with using your writing to organize the time before you into simpler parts. Instead of just trying to go out and create a 5-year plan, it begins with creating, let's say, a 3-month plan, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 5 years, and slowly kind of grow the plan outwards. But you want to start small, even if it's only a few weeks into the future, what you think you could do better. And this is a plan that you can revise every day. And it sounds boring, but you're creating a fictional world using writing that mimics or echoes where you would like yourself to go. And this is something that you want to do every day, even if you're only, again, spending 10 or 15 minutes and writing 100 to 200 words. The point is to use language to plan a daily schedule that minimizes, for lack of a better word, your suffering. You're trying to plan a daily schedule that will produce an incremental improvement from the day before. And this might look like a daily plan. I have a daily planner the night before when I'm filling out my schedule. It can even be helpful to just write a few sentences. I write class at 9 a.m., I write breakfast at 8 o'clock, and reading at 2 p.m., whatever. But it can be really useful to write a few sentences summarizing what you hope to accomplish throughout the day. So that's kind of planning at the smallest scale. And to grow out for long-term planning, we have to scale up daily planning. Instead of designating particular tasks with the time of day as you might do in a daily planner like I just mentioned, you're writing about a specific ideal, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years into the future? Where would you like yourself to be? And from there, you can work backwards and there's a communication between how you get from your short-term plan to your long-term plan, and from your long-term back to your short-term. By doing that process, writing becomes a means of aligning your ideal future with the careful execution of daily plans, and it's a constant dialogue that aims to marry your present and your future. In the next video, I'll talk about how we can specifically create one of these plans, and I might outline my own. But the point that I want to leave you with, the point I want to emphasize, is to think about writing not as something that you do in a boring academic environment. Think about it as a tool for your ability to give form to your ideal future before it even happens. And that's the first step toward actually living the life that you want to live. All right, I want to thank everybody for watching. I apologize for, there's some noises in the background. I'm filming in a small apartment, and there's a noisy dog that just lives down the hall. Not a whole lot I can do about it, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So thanks for sticking with me. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the video. If you have any questions, I'm more than willing to answer them. I hope everyone has a good day. Thanks.